Hi everyone, I wanted to talk to you about my hydrangeas and my experience this year because I had to prune them pretty hard. As you can see, the walkway is pretty much covered again. I actually did an experiment this year to try to figure out how to prune it, what to do it, what not to do it. I researched a lot of different ways. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I read a couple books about it, and the hydrangea I have is a big leaf hydrangea, and it blooms on the old wood, which gets a little bit tricky because how old does the wood need to be for it to bloom? From what I figured out, it needs to be at least the second year. So if I'll give this one as an example. This plant is here. This is its second year. The first year it did not bloom at all, but this year it has a couple of these huge mop head, big blooms. And the acidity of the soil makes a huge difference. If it's more acidic, it becomes this purple, bluish colors, which I didn't do the blue, but I got purple. This part I didn't do anything. I didn't amend the soil to make it more acidic. So this one, whenever it came out, it was white almost. Now it's to this greenish color. On the same plant over here, I have a pink one. I'm gonna show you around. I pruned all of them. Some of them I barely pruned at all. Like the first one that has the blooms, I barely trimmed it. This one I trimmed it pretty harsh, but I didn't make it short. I didn't trim them top-wise. Either way, you could tell this is this year's growth. Like this spring, we didn't have any. It goes all the way to the bottom. This is the new wood. As you can see, this is the old wood. I trimmed all the old wood over here. I watched a video and it made sense in my head as which old wood to trim it. And I'm not saying it's her fault. I wanted to experiment anyways, because as you can see, the walkway is still pretty covered, but it was worse. I couldn't even walk on it. So I knew I needed to trim it. So I trimmed the way it was explaining. Certain colors would be the second year, the other one was the first year. You trim certain ones, but that theory does not work. As you can see, I didn't get no blooms on all the ones that I cut. This one, I wanted to make sure, because it wasn't that big, I get some kind of blooms, and if the theory or the video that I watched was wrong, at least I would still get some. And on these, especially this one, these two get more sun. As you can see, they got almost sunburnt. I watered them, but it's still, they need to be a little bit more protected. And these are north facing wall. And on these, all I did was pull on it, and if it came out, that's how I trimmed it. I didn't do anything special. Oh my goodness, look at that huge grasshopper. So if it comes out, yeah, that's how you trim it. Like this one, it's just laying there. I just pulled on it earlier and it came off. That's how you know it needs to be taken out there, because it kind of gets a little bit too crowded in the base of the plant. And I took some pictures. I will definitely put them on the video too. This is how I pruned it back in March. I took out at least 3 or 4 of those big buckets,
and it definitely made a big difference on the sidewalk.
Now, I do totally agree. If you're going to trim it and you want blooms, you just need to pull those little sticks. And if they come out, that's how you trim it. Again, if you need to make it smaller, which in my case, I still do, because that's my walkway, non-existent, maybe a foot. Either way, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I love hydrangeas. This is the big leaf. I don't know if I told you that. They're also called Hydrangea microphylla. I quit amending the soil with the soil acidifier, and now I have pink flowers. I mean, it's an amazing plant. And I also noticed, like a couple of years ago, I took this plant from other side and planted it here. And I didn't amend the soil on this section at all. So I have this chartreuse color mop head. I mean, it is huge. And a pink one. The first year I did not have no blooms whatsoever. So my experience from this hydrangea is, if you want it to bloom, you don't want to really trim it. You just need to kind of pull the dried up sticks, because they become like little sticks down there. You just pull it. If it comes out, that's how you know they're done. Kind of like this one, pull on it. Okay, good. You're gonna leave them alone. What else? They don't like it too wet either, because the same year I planted this one, I planted one over here, and that one didn't really like it there. So this year I moved it all the way west facing under this tree. Right here. And that's its size. It was the same size as the other one that I just showed you with the green bloom. I'm pretty sure it's gonna like it here, because 3 months ago I transplanted this one, and I know it wouldn't bloom because I did prune it pretty harsh and moved it over here. It really needs to establish its roots, so I'm okay with that, and it doesn't get too hot for it, which I was afraid it would, because it definitely gets too hot for this hibiscus. I had to come out and water it in the middle of the day because all the leaves were shriveled up. I was so sad. I was like, oh no, I just planted that, it's gonna die, but nope, it pulled it through, I think. And I moved a drip line right there under it, and that is 4 gallons an hour, and at this point it's getting it twice a day. I think once it's established, it's not gonna get that much. There's another hydrangea over here, which I love. I just planted this one probably about a month ago or so, and this is Limelight. So I love the colors. I mean, this hydrangea blooms on the new wood though, which I do want to get more of that in here. Oh my God! My first sunflower. Oh my God, I'm in love. Oh, I gotta go get my sons and show them. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, that made my day. That made my day, definitely.